What did you think of the meeting?
I thought it was good to provide a forum like that for medallion owners and hacks to find out what's happening with the new regulations and to voice our concerns.
Do you think it was effective? Do you think they listened to you?
I think that they did take the feedback, but I think that there has to be a legitimized group voice for the cab drivers to make a proposal about what to do to upgrade the social contract between the drivers and the city and the ridership. Because when you have all these different voices, none of them get taken as what should be done. But if we had 100 people organized behind a proposal professionalize the Chicago taxi cab industry so that we get the three basic things we need and the passengers get the three basic things that they should be getting, then we can move forward with legislation introduced in the Transportation Committee and the Chicago City Council. But this piecemeal voicing of this concern by this individual and that individual gets the message diluted and muddled, and so the substantive changes that we really need never get effectuated. What do we need? We need the customers to be able to have a skilled, safe driver, and you get that through having field supervisor driving coaches having the power to schedule the drivers for driving lessons when they don't do things the right way. It could bring the accident injury rate down from 1,000 ER visits a year to just 500. Number two, the passengers need a clean, fresh, shiny vehicle. You do that by having built into the fare structure or the medallion renewal fee a industrial cleaning facility where all the cars go once a year or when needed, so that at least there's a guarantee that all cars are being hit and kept fresh, as opposed to leaving it up to the driver. Think about coming to that company.
Oh yeah?
I see, it must be okay if you're there.
How you doing?
So, and the vomit cleanup fee should be, part of that. That way you're not arguing and humiliating a person after they vomited. So you have better skilled, safer drivers, cleaner cabs, and and there should be the Australian system of the digital archive of what's happened in the cab, so that the passengers have emotional and physical safety more so, instead of being alone with an abusive cab driver. What do we need? We need the Australian system so that we have emotional, legal, and occupational and physical safety more so. And that way, when a passenger is abusive to us, the prosecutors, the administrative law judges at 400 West Superior can actually see what happened. That way we don't have to fight for our occupation, our reputation, our medallion if someone says that we pulled out a knife, gun, or threatened to sexually assault them. So, we're at the mercy of these people. We're completely emasculated when they're threatening us with $1,000 or $2,000 fines if we don't accept the plea bargain for $100. So we need the Australian system to put everybody on their best behavior and to document what's actually happening in the cabin of the cab. We need a place to go for free to get the cab detailed and kept clean, shiny, and fresh, and if someone vomits. And we need an extra person charge of $5 for each extra person in the city and $10 to and from the airport. That way you bump us up to at least federal minimum wage with 1 day off without putting too much pressure on this whole individual when he or she is driving wrong. This is my grand proposal on how to upgrade the social contract that I've been preaching for, talking about for the last 9.5 years. It'll be 10 years this June 14th that I've been driving in Chicago. But Alderman Beale and Commissioner Trimble, and the mayor don't have a unified group of people behind a substantive proposal to really upgrade the industry. It's just this voice, that voice, this voice, that voice. And so they end up doing piecemeal cosmetic changes. But we need field supervisor driving coaches in the field. Hello,
Last question, quick. Do you think that this showed, this meeting here was indicative of a positive change?
It is indicative of a positive change, and what changes Commissioner Ray has made, there were positive things that came out of that. Overall, the industry is not as good as it was when I left Chicago in 1973 after growing up here. or it wasn't done as well as when my grandfather drove in 1928 when he came up from Texas. But in terms of positive efforts to stem the degradation of the industry because of what's happened with drivers coming from so many different backgrounds and there being so many drivers and you know, so many companies that to answer your question, yes, there are positive changes to deal with the problems in the industry that have gotten worse over the 97-year history of the industry. I mean, 99-year history of the industry. The first company was the Shaw Brothers in 1913. So we have a 99-year history, and over the last 25, 30 years, the driving quality has gone down, the cleanliness has gone down, the customer service has gone down. But the commissioners, the last three, Schoenberger and Reyes and now Crimble, have been making successive cosmetic changes to try to improve things. Schoenberger's exponential leap in fines from just $100 or $200 to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 if you don't accept the plea bargain or if you're found guilty was not a cosmetic change. That was dramatic, albeit it was a dramatic change, but it was a draconian one because it's oppressive and it makes us emasculated and not being able to stand up to the passengers who are abusive with their attitudes and otherwise overtly so even. So, that was, I mean, what you need is, the Australian system to document what actually happened. What you need is a place when we're going to O'Hare Midway where we can have the cabs clean for free, built into the industry structure, maybe through the medallion renewal fee. That way you would fund this place for us to have them clean whenever we're coming and going, instead of just requiring the drivers and asking them to keep the cabs clean, shiny, and fresh, and fining them if a vehicle man or an inspector sees the one that's filthy and happens to catch it. There's no systematic way to make sure they're all scheduled to be clean so that everyone can have cabs, much more so, that are clean, shiny, and fresh. This will bump up the ridership. We're losing significant ridership because of the frustration of taking a Chicago cab. There's surely 5, 10, 15, maybe 20% of the people, particularly on short trips, that are just going to walk it or bus it or bike it because you don't know if the driver's going to know how to drive skillfully and safely, and is his car going to be clean, shiny, well, just clean and fresh. Let alone, is he going to be on his cell phone? He's going to give you static about the credit card. So, and we need a place which deals with credit card fraud or stolen things like this, stolen cars or charge disputes. The sole hack leasing a cab from an affiliation shouldn't be in a position to deal with this, let alone a medallion owner. So, and we should be reimbursed the next day, and we shouldn't be paying 5%, because the rest of the industry the rest of the world is only paying 1.75%. I think New York's 3%. So these are the main issues that we have.
Short point, there's some positive change, but there's a ways to go, huh?
There's a major ways to go, and because the drivers aren't trained how to drive right, and their cabs aren't kept clean and fresh, and they are on their cell phones too much, and they get static over the credit card. So before you have drivers making decent wage and 1 day off a week, so if they stay in 10 years to start to master the way out of the city, you'll never get to a professional world-class taxi cab industry like London for a wannabe world-class hometown that admittedly is world important, because we are the hub of North America, the city that had to be on the great shores, southern edge of the Great Lakes, Michigan, and all of that.